Hello and welcome to Down the Track. Today is a very special edition. We're going to talk about the best game in our cricketing lives. I have with me Don Abrar Aziz, who's now become a regular guest on this show. Welcome, Don. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm good. I'm still hungover. I don't know where to start actually. Let's start with the overthrows on the last over. That's where the game changed, isn't it, huh?
Heartbroken, man. Heartbroken. Just imagine you and me as cricket fans were so upset. Can you imagine what like Kane Williamson and his team are going through right now?
I
It's just absurd.
I can't imagine the. So basically, it was they needed 9 runs of 3 balls, if I'm correct, and he hits the
Yeah.
ball to deep. He just hit his six the ball before, brought the equation down. He hits the ball to deep mid wicket. The ball is going to Guptill. He's going for the second run. He might have made it without a direct throw anyway, but the ball deflects out off his bat and goes for four.
Yep.
I heard after that, we saw Simon Toffel saying that
Yeah.
it should have been five. The ball released late. What do you think? Do you think that the umpires made a huge blunder here, and this should have been rectified, considering that it was a World Cup final?
Definitely, 100%. Like, I mean, I don't understand the point of having the third umpire on the field if the umpire on field because of the situation and there's a lot going on, so they get carried away and everything, and they make a mistake. The third umpire should always pitch in. They have those cameras, they have those walkie talkies or whatever they are called nowadays. Just give him a ring and tell him tell him that there's a mistake. Just change it, 1 run less. Continue with the game. It'll take literally 10 seconds.
Do you
I
think they were
honestly think
aware of the rule? It is a rule. Do you think they were aware of the rule? The third umpire himself, he should be, but at that moment, were they aware of it?
that's what I'm saying. There has to be some way of mitigating this situation. Like it's just not right. Like I mean, a lot can be said. Maybe they would have won after that as well. You never know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and maybe we wouldn't have got super over. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten drama. But then to get the rules right is absolutely. I mean, I can't believe that they made such a mistake. What's the point of having three, four umpires when you're going to make such a critical mistake in such a critical situation? You know.
But as a team, like New Zealand, we all know they're so innocent. They play the game like the gentleman's game it should be. But don't you think they should have appealed after the game? It might have been late. They might have not been aware of the rules also. But isn't there a case? Imagine it was Kohli at the same instead of Williamson. If it was the BCCI instead of the New Zealand Cricket Board, they would have surely made a case.
They would have, but I feel like that's why I like the New Zealand team so much. Like they've accepted it, they moved on, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll come back stronger in 2023, and that's why it's a gentleman's game, right? It should be played in the gentleman fashion, like, and I love the way that they've accepted it. Although I feel like they must be really upset about it, but they were part of a great game. I think they're taking it in that spirit and just moving on,
No doubt. Without that
and
overthrow,
kudos
I
to
don't
them.
think it would have gone to a super over
Exactly,
because
yeah,
you would
exactly.
have Adil Rashid on strike and it would have
Yep,
been different. You never know, but it might have not even gone to a super over. With Ben Stokes on strike, there was always England were always
quite
in the
unlikely.
driver's seat.
Yep, quite unlikely.
But what a game that was!
Yeah, quite unlikely. Yep.
Your thoughts on Ben Stokes?
Still
Your thoughts on Ben Stokes and his innings?
amazing, like amazing. Like I said, I think we've discussed this before also. He had a very ordinary IPL. He had a lot of issues like last year because of that club brawl and all that
Yeah.
he was involved in and everything. What a turnaround for him. And even like 2017 when he gave away those four sixes to Carlos Brathwaite,
Yeah.
like just what a turnaround for him. Like it's amazing. It's just sports is a great leveler, they always say, right? Like 2017 the heartbreak and 2019 the euphoria. It's amazing.
Just the mental strength. I think that was the best innings of all time for like an Englishman, like especially considering the circumstances.
Yeah.
Without him, they wouldn't have got close. Yes, he had Butler in support, but when Butler was gone, still England were under the pump. They were
Yep.
196 for five. The ball was, to be honest, that pitch was very difficult to bat on. He made it look, yeah, he was struggling, but at the end, he made it look a bit easy with those sixes in the last few overs. But that was a very, very difficult pitch to bat on. So, in my
Yeah.
opinion, that's probably one of the greatest innings in cricket, like to take it that close.
I think one of the greatest innings of any finals has played. Even like we can fight that Dhoni had a good innings. We can fight that Gautam Gambhir in 2011. But I can remember only those two at the top of my head. But one of the most exciting, like one of the most gritty innings. I think like just he stuck in there. He wasn't timing the ball at all initially. Butler was taking care of the most of the runs. He was just like getting himself in, and then he took them over the line eventually. Even
Yeah.
in the super over, he came in and he scored that
Yeah,
boundary.
8 runs
Pretty
of
good.
three balls in or nine.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 runs of three balls in the super over.
Yep.
And what
I
about
think.
that catch, Trent Bolt? Was it just lack of awareness, overconfidence? Because he took a even tougher catch of Carlos Brathwaite, if you remember, against West Indies on the boundary. It was a tense situation. Yeah, it wasn't a final, but it was a tense situation. But this, I felt he was more in control until he just suddenly moved back and hit the boundary.
Yeah, I think lack of awareness. I think it's quite unfortunate. I think that is the moment that changed. Like if he would have hung on to that catch
It
and
was
if it
game
was all
over.
over after that, it was game over. I think that moment really, like, it was more than the overthrows. I think that was the moment that I think would be hurting the New Zealand team the most at this point. But hats off, man! Immediately as soon as he hit it, Guptill put his hands up,
Guptill, yeah.
show six. Like, such great people. Like, it's so nice to see that. I mean, there's no way any of the other teams, like the Australians or even the Indians for that matter, would have ever like put up their hands right away. They would have gone on to the third umpire, and of course, they would have been given a six anyway. But it's just nice to see that, and just for that, I feel like it's injustice was done in the end. Like, the good people should have won the World Cup. It's
Yeah,
just
it was heartbreaking, but for me, the point was England. I think England are the best one-day team in general. Yes, New Zealand deserved to win that game as much as England did, no doubt. But England in general, the way they've been playing their cricket, the aggressive batting, their bowling, Jofra Archer, the way he's like handling his variations, to have that hold his nerve in that over after getting a hit for a six in the super over, he still held his nerve. He kept bowling. 7 of 4 runs, you would have given it to New Zealand the game, but he kept bowling and he made it hard for the batsman to put him away at the end, and he won them the game. So I think overall England were a very solid side. Yeah, like the actual final, you can't say they deserved it more than New Zealand, but the way they've been playing cricket over the last 4 years, they did deserve something. A World Cup was there for the taking for them.
Yep, I think yes. I think the biggest turnaround, they were knocked out in the group stages in 2015, horrendous World Cup in 2015. Come and Trevor Bayliss and Ian Morgan, like, I think at that time they had decided that they're going to win the 2019 World Cup. They put a lot of hard work, a lot of effort. I think Andrew Strauss backed them nicely, and they were given the freedom to do what they wanted to do, and I think they've returned the favor magnificently. And a small word on Jofra Archer. I think. From not being in the contention to be picked to the World Cup.
Yeah,
What a miraculous decision! Like, it was a
unbelievable.
beautiful decision by the team. Like, to back the youngster and to give him the super over in such a high pressure moment was quite gutsy of Ian Morgan,
That
and
tells
it
you
paid
a
off in
lot
the end
about
for him
Ewan Morgan, the captain, right?
as
Like
a captain.
it's
Yep.
like they're talking about the diversity. You have Moeen Ali, Adil Rashid, you have Jofra Archer,
Yep.
you have South African and Jason Roy, you have a New Zealander and Ben Stokes. But
Yep.
as a British, like as the captain of England, it's not easy to handle all these different cultures. But he backs his players. There was David Willey, I think, was replaced by Jofra Archer
The
in the
Yep.
squad, and Willey was
Yeah.
somebody who was brought in to get this left arm kind of thing going for England and bring something new to their team. And he was a part of this 4 year change. But suddenly he knew that Archer is a match winner and he took him. So it tells you a lot about Morgan
Yep.
and his aggressive style of captaincy, doesn't it?
Yep, very ruthless and commendable. I mean, in the end, he's won the World Cup, so you can't have any complaints or anything. It's just great cricketing mind. Except for that Afghanistan innings, I think he was a little bit off form per se. I didn't think he was really up there with his form,
That short
but
ball has become his weakness.
he's becoming. And I think he's realizing it now. A lot of people are like really using it at him, and it's really, he has to figure it out quickly if he wants to continue playing for a little longer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's gonna find it really hard to make those runs.
Maybe that's why he's not in the test team. That's probably the specific reason why he
Quite,
hasn't.
yeah, quite surely, yeah. I think Jason Roy should make that test team though.
Yeah, he's been selected for the
Oh, he
Ireland
did. Yeah,
test
yeah, yeah. I
match.
think I read that in
So
the
he'll
morning. Yeah.
probably now where would New Zealand go from here? Like I don't know how. What else can you do? Like they tried their best. Everyone said first they didn't deserve to make it on net run rate. Yeah, Pakistan were playing good towards the end, but New Zealand went. But they always are there or there about in every single World Cup that we've seen. They're either in the semi-finals, in the finals. Now they've lost two finals back to back. But this
Yeah.
you can't really say they lost it, can you?
I mean, it's one of those cases where two teams played, one team won, and no team lost. It's
No
just
team
like
lost,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. I think they should just continue doing what they're doing. New Zealand's been doing amazingly. I think they've always been like going above their weight in these games.
Yeah.
So just continue doing what they're doing and hope for a little bit of luck next time around.
I think their bowling is really solid. I think batting
Yeah.
is where they might need to, like, especially in the
Yeah.
opening slots, they need to probably
Yeah.
get a few batsmen.
It's
But
quite sad though, because Guptill was like their go-to man in the 2015 World Cup, like heavy runs and everything, and
yeah.
this time he couldn't do anything. It's quite sad to see
Would you
that.
have gone with him in the super over or would you have gone with somebody like de Grandhomme or Kane Williamson? Because I read and it was said that he basically was in the super over because of his running between the wickets.
Yeah, I guess I still think that if he would have connected one of those shots, I mean, he had only one ball to play, I think, in the end, but I think it was a pretty good choice. I think you have to back your better players, and the running was an asset, so it kind of.
You don't think somebody like Williamson or de Grandhomme, like Williamson doesn't strike it as big as Guptill, but he was in form, the highest run scorer for New Zealand,
Yeah,
the
I have a
captain.
feeling he was slotted in to come in at three.
Three, and then maybe
Yeah,
de Grandhomme, because you saw Nisham, he swung it. He's the one who got them close in the Super Over, right? He hit
yeah.
that six. So maybe if you went with a big hitter, because Guptill was just not finding his rhythm like the whole tournament.
Yeah, I think in hindsight a lot can be said, but I think at the moment I think it was a good decision. They would have it was a calculated risk, and unfortunately it didn't pay off. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, that's true. And that last ball, what were your thoughts during that ball? Like Jason Roy just fumbled it two, three balls ago. He
That's what
fumbled.
I was exactly what I was thinking. Like, that was a lesser pressure. This was more important to pick it up, and he picked it up and threw it pretty close to the wickets.
Yeah,
I think
it
it was
wasn't
like
the
he just said
perfect
like,
throw, was
it
it?
was, but it was pretty damn close. I mean,
Yeah.
it was good enough.
But it was Butler's
And
presence to come a bit down the
someone,
wicket and
yeah,
come and
and
fetch it from
flung
there.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Wow, it's just great cricket. I think overall this tournament we've seen some very good cricket, some very good batting, some amazing bowling, some quite quite mind blowing fielding, like that Jadeja's catch. There were a couple of that amazing catches that catch Nisham took
Yeah.
off of Dinesh Karthik against in the semi final.
Yeah.
That
That
catch
was
was amazing.
unbelievable.
Like some really good catches also. I think overall a very good tournament all in all if you think about it.
And this will definitely bring a lot more fans like a lot of fans to the game, right? Especially in England because it was free to air television. And the
Yeah.
way we've never seen a game like that. I don't know about people 30, 40 years older to us, but we've
Yeah.
never seen a game like that in our lives.
I don't think anyone has witnessed such a game with so much intensity. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and the drama was just
And
unbelievable.
I think it was being talked to worldwide. Like America, just generally they're not a very cricket loving nation. But like when I went to office the next day, everyone was talking about, oh, what happened in the cricket World Cup yesterday? What happened in the cricket game yesterday? Because it was in literally every newspaper's first page, I think.
Yeah, it even
Yeah.
overshadowed the Wimbledon match, which was like
Yeah.
a really good game as well. But
Yeah.
this cricket match was just an unbelievable match.
It was just next level, next level.
For you, the captain of the tournament, Williamson,
For sure. Without a shadow of a doubt.
he didn't put a foot wrong, huh? Like in terms of bowling changes, field placements, and if you notice, New Zealand's fielding was probably the best in the tournament.
Yeah. It's all over the place. Like I think their batting didn't click, and that's why they struggle a little bit more. But overall, like bowling spot on, changes spot on, his field placements were perfect, and he was batting incredibly well as well. So I think he did everything, whatever he could do, he did.
And he was the deserved.
Unfortunately, just like
He was the deserved MVP for you in your eyes.
100%. Yeah, I think so. I think there were a few close contenders, but I think overall, as if you go to think about it in hindsight, I think it was a good decision to give him the player of the tournament for sure.
Yeah, you can argue Morgan is also a really good captain, but Williamson had probably lesser resources, lesser stars in his team compared to Morgan, where Morgan had a few players like Ben Stokes can just turn around a game in 2 seconds. But
Yeah.
Williamson had less of those players, but the way he got all his troops together and the certain game plan they went with, that was just incredible, I feel.
Yeah, I think all of them worked really hard, even though like they stuck to their team and they worked really hard, and it was just unfortunate, like matter of millimeters for them to like go over the line. It's quite sad.
Yeah, no,
But
unbelievable. Probably
yeah,
the best game we've ever seen. And just to round things off, thoughts on India? That they didn't make this. They didn't make the finals. Everyone is expecting them to be at Lords. We were expecting them to be at Lords, and it was a good. It turned out to be a good run chase because of Jadeja. And but where do they go from here? Would you sack the coach? Would you sack the captain? Would you make changes? Does Dhoni retire or does Dhoni get dropped? Where do you go from here for India?
I think there's going to take another whole podcast for us to talk about all of that. But
But just in short,
just yeah,
would you change
just
the at least the management?
initial thoughts. I think definitely. I think that review meeting that they've been talking about needs to be discussed. Have you heard? I don't know if you've heard the rift between Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Some discussion that
I
I don't know
heard
how much of
rumors.
that
Yeah,
is.
I
I
heard
don't know how
rumors.
much of that is true.
Yeah.
There are rumors. No, none of them have come out in support of each other or anything of that sort yet. So I think definitely need to look into some other coaching options for sure. Ravi Shastri, I don't know if he's a coach for a world class cricket team like India. I think there needs to be a little bit more change. I don't know who honestly. I would love to see Kumble or one of our older people come back and
But for
take
that to
take
happen,
charge.
Virat Kohli has to be removed as
And
captain.
I
Doesn't he?
agree. I agree. And if it's gonna be like if Virat Kohli is gonna push above his weight, I think he needs to reality check. I think he can't like if he gave you the World Cup, then you stick with him. But he didn't give you the World Cup now, so you have to question it a little bit. Just I mean, it's personally, I love him as a batsman. I think he's improved immensely as a captain as well. But I think questions need to be asked. I mean, you
Especially in
have to,
selection, right? Like his
yeah,
off on
selection.
the field wasn't too bad. He was pretty good in the
Yeah.
bowling changes and the field placements. But the selections, sending Raidu, like not bringing Raidu, sending
Yeah.
Shankar back, doing this, that. Like there's a lot of chopping and changing.
Yeah. So like when Dhawan got injured, they brought in who did they bring in? Who did they bring in for Dhawan? Oh, Pant, which is okay, fine.
Yeah, Rishabh
But
Pant.
when Vijay Shankar got injured, they brought in Mayank Agarwal. It didn't make sense to me. I don't know
Didn't make
why
sense.
would
Yeah.
you do that? Like I think that was a perfect time to bring Raidu in and try him at the number 4 spot because it was clear after 5 6 games that was still the spot that was a worry for us.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It didn't make sense. I mean, there are a couple of questions that could definitely be raised,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think Dhoni has also realized. To your point about Dhoni, I think he's also realized. I think there's an announcement soon. I can see it in his eyes. I don't
Yeah,
know. I just
yeah. I
feel like
think the,
something's.
the squad will be announced on July 19th for the West Indies tour. We'll probably have a better indication then about
Yeah.
Dhoni and like the team, how the team is going to be run. But yeah, we'll have a full podcast after the selection for that.
Yes.
Just to
Yes.
round it up, your batsman and bowler of the tournament and your match of the tournament. Match, I know already what you're going to say,
Ah,
but
yeah.
the
Match
the
of the
final,
tournament is quite easy.
yeah,
My batsman of the tournament, like for me, Rohit Sharma was a great batsman, like overall.
yeah,
But I think just because he didn't perform when he really needed to,
yeah,
I'm finding it hard to give him the batsman of the tournament award. I want to honestly give it like it's a little bit of a controversial choice, but I want to give it to Jason Roy
yeah,
because I think when he was not in the team, England struggled,
yeah,
and he was really giving that momentum to everyone to come in. Like he was giving them the platform to kind of come in and launch for number 3, 4, and 5.
yeah,
So I think my batsman of the tournament is definitely Jason Roy.
yeah.
Although I think he most people scored more runs, but I think he's my guy
Yeah. And
for now.
bowler of the tournament?
That's another tough one, man. I think there were three really good options. I think there was Jofra Archer, there was Mitchell Stark,
Yeah.
and Jasprit Bumrah. But I think again because so I think I'm gonna it's very difficult, but I think I have to give it to Stark because he was phenomenal
Yeah.
whenever he played. Except for that one game, I think he was phenomenal overall.
No, no, definitely. Especially the way he was reversing the ball, and that ball to Stokes was probably the ball of the century, the ball of the World
Yeah,
Cup for sure.
for sure,
But
amazing, amazing.
for
So
me, I think the batsman of the tournament would be Williamson. I know they lost, but just
yeah,
because he had so much pressure on him, around him, there's only Ross Taylor. Otherwise, there was no one else performing around him. Especially
yeah,
the way he played against India on a tough pitch, and in general, he scored 200s. He was carrying the team. Like the only reason I didn't go with the Englishman is because, like Roy still had Bairstow, he had Butler, he
yeah,
had Stokes. Yeah, Stokes for me was the performance of the tournament, especially his
yeah.
last innings. But I think batsman Williamson, for me, the bowler of the tournament, it's a very surprise pick. I don't know if many people will go with this pick, but it's Liam Plunkett. He actually
Mm.
changed England's whole game plan. Like Moeen Ali was there, if you noticed.
Yeah,
They took
yeah,
him out. Liam Plunkett with the slower cutters. He was kind of like a mix of a spinner and a bowler. But the way
yeah,
he got, like how India bank on Kuldeep and Chahal.
Yeah.
Liam Plunkett was banked on for England for the middle overs, and he picked consistent wickets, whether it was the finals, semi-finals, even the game against India, the game against New Zealand in the round robin where they had to win. He came and picked up wickets. So I don't know how you feel about it. Not he went under the radar, but I think he was the bowler of the tournament for me.
I think a very brave choice, a smart one too. I think I would not have thought about it. The way you're explaining it, I think it makes a lot of sense to
He goes under the
consider
radar,
him
right?
in
Like the Archer is like he bowled amazing and everything. He's not that type of bowler in your face or anything, but just his variations and the way this wicket taking ability changes games, right? If take out those wickets, if you had Moeen Ali going for 30 runs, 0 wickets, England might have not chased the final. Like they might have conceded 260, 270, but Liam Plunkett was the guy who was there and picking the wicket. So for me, I think he was the bowler of the tournament. But
Really quickly, what's your 11?
The 11 of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Very difficult, but I'll go with Jason Roy up top, opening batsman with Jason Roy and Warner. One down, I'd put Rohit Sharma, just based on performance. Two down, Williamson. Three down, Ben Stokes for sure. Six, I'll go with Alex Carey. Seven, I will go. Who is there as number 7? Help me out, man. Number 7. Okay, I'll go with Carlos Brathwaite. I'll go with Carlos Brathwaite because of his innings. And then my bowlers, that leaves
You didn't pick Stoke. Oh, you did pick
I
Stokes
did.
at 5. Never mind.
With 4 bowlers, I'd go with Bumrah. I'd go with Mitchell Stark. I'd go with Ferguson. I think he was very impactful. I'd go with Liam Plunkett. I'd go with 4 fast bowlers.
Oh, 4 fast bowlers?
Yeah.
No real spinning options in your team.
Because if you notice, spinners didn't really impact the World Cup as much as the fast bowlers did.
Would you not have Shakib in your team?
Oh, that's a tough. Yeah, I think please, I'll take out Brathwaite and put Shakib. I forgot him. Definitely. Shakib was the MVP in the group series.
I think he had a good tournament.
Yeah,
overall.
so remove Brathwaite and put Shakib.
For me, I think that's a fair call because that way it gives you Stokes and Shakib by your 5th bowler. So those are 2 decent 5th bowlers for you as well. So works out. For me, I think I picked Jason Roy as my top batsman of the tournament, but it's a little bit weird right now for me because I want left and right combination, and I think Rohit Sharma and David Warner up top for me.
Yeah.
And Jason Roy is my number 12, really close, knocking on the door. Yeah. But at number 3 I have Kane, who's my captain as well.
Yeah.
At 4 I have Shakib. At 5 I have Stokes. At 6, it's a great tournament, but I think just the finals, the way he performed, I think he just really made me want to pick him as my number 6 is Jason Butler.
Yeah. Josh Butler.
Jason Butler?
Josh Butler.
Yeah, Josh Butler.
Yeah.
Josh Butler. At 7, Carey. And then 8, 9, and 10 is Mitch Stark, Jasprit Bumrah, Jofra Archer. And at 11, Hashim Bhai, because I think that gives my team a solid.
Imran Tahir, you mean?
Sorry, Imran Tahir.
It gives a spinning option.
Imran Tahir. Yeah, it just gives my team a little bit more balance.
No, that's a really solid team. The only reason I went with Saqib is because of the tournament he had, plus he's a good spinning option. And plus, if you saw this World Cup, the fast bowlers impacted it more than the spinners.
Yes, 100%. I think it is, yeah. I think I was prepared with my team a lot. I've been thinking about it since the World Cup's over, so I was like ready with the team. And then I have like Jason Roy at number 12. I know I just can't. I really want to bring him in. Maybe I'll bring him in for Rohit Sharma and pick it up. But I think even Rohit Sharma had a pretty good tournament, so it'd be unfair to not keep him there as well. So
yeah, it was just that semi-final where he failed. Otherwise, he had the tournament of his life.
Yep, pretty much. I think that number 6 spot was a little bit of a. If you notice, none of the finishers of any team, like be it Maxwell and Stoinis, be it the Andre Russells and the Carlos Brathwaite, except for that one innings, I don't think, and be it the Hardik Pandya or anything, none of the teams really had an outstanding performance, except for maybe that one Carlos Brathwaite innings, which he didn't take the team over the line for. Even though he had like 6 runs to a score of 7 balls or something, he could have easily just knocked around, get the strike for the next. So that's why I have to take Butler. And I just want that finisher, and then that gives me the 2 keepers in my team as well with Butler and Carey. So that works out for me.
It's a pretty solid team. But I think that's all we have for today. It was a great session, and we'll have another podcast concerning the Indian team and what happens for the West Indies tour. And then Ashes are coming up, so I'm sure you're excited about
Yeah.
that. It's very
Yeah,
difficult right now. Like
absolutely.
this week is going to be very sad because we're used to watching a World Cup game every day, and especially they
Yeah.
left us on such a high, the greatest game ever, super over. Who would
Yep.
have thought? Yeah, just one
Still
last question
recovering.
actually just popped into my head. Would you have finished the game if you were the head of the ICC? Would you have finished like changed the rules to have a different sort of finish? Because the game, New Zealand didn't lose; they lost on boundaries. So would you have another super over like in football? They have sudden death and penalties, or would you have something else?
100%. Like that rule is the most silly rule. Like when New Zealand, England are going out to bat, how would you know? Like, oh, we have to score more boundaries than England just in case it's going to be a super over and we lose on
Yeah.
that front. Makes absolutely no sense. If England scored more boundaries, New Zealand took more wickets.
Yeah,
Why isn't
so it's
that being
equal. Yeah,
considered?
it's
It's like,
equal.
yeah, it has
The
to.
the
They have
only
to.
the only thing I'll say on this is I agree with you 100%. There has to be something else, maybe an extra super over, like play until you
Yeah,
get a result, like they do in football, like they do in basketball. But the
yeah,
only
for sure.
thing I have is that this is a very rare instance. It doesn't really happen.
Yeah,
Yes, you should
yeah,
be prepared for rare instances as well. But also the captains are made aware of the rules and they can disagree before the tournament if they have to. And
right,
nobody
right.
said no, right? They could have questioned
Yeah,
it. They could have, but I don't think anybody, even like the captains or any
in the
player, nobody would have
yeah,
thought it would have gone this way. But I agree in
exactly.
but this is probably a good learning curve for the ICC. They probably can now move on and try to improve this rule. Definitely, they need to find a way to get a result because this stuff won't work. It doesn't happen in any other sport rather than
Yeah,
cricket. But even that overthrow rule, they have to look on that. But I think it's a learning experience because this is something we've never seen, right? Like those kind.
yeah.
I don't think we've seen a cricket game with so many dramatic instances, be it that catch, the overthrow, the super over, the tie, everything. We've never seen anything like that in one game. So I think it'll be
Yeah,
a good learning experience, and
yeah.
they
I
need
think
they have to rectify their mistakes. I'm sure the
yeah.
ICC.
For sure. I think overthrow rule is still fine. I think if it goes off of unfortunate incident like that, you have to take it in your spirit. But the
But they have to
boundary
check.
whoever has
But they have to check where the throw,
yes,
right?
you have definitely check if they made they gave them the extra that should be considered for sure. But I think the boundary rule needs to change for sure. 100%. Like just play another over. It's going to take you what 20 minutes more.
Yeah.
You're already like you already have like millions of views. It's good for your publicity also. Who
Yeah, yeah.
knows?
Because who wants, like, technically New Zealand didn't lose. If you're trying to explain this to somebody who doesn't watch cricket, it's very difficult, right?
Yeah.
And like it doesn't happen in any sport, so they will
Yeah.
have to look to that. But
We're
all in
probably never going to see a situation like this in our lifetime again.
yeah,
But
yeah.
so we
All in
might
all, I
not.
think it was a great tournament. Like it started off a bit like rough with the rain and everything, one-sided games. But then the tournament picked up. We saw very close games, like 6, 7 close games. But then the final just took it to another level. And probably this is probably the best match we've ever seen, and probably the best World Cup ever. Especially the best finish to a World Cup ever.
For sure, for sure. I'm still recovering, man. It's been 3 or 4 days, but still
It's good.
recovering.
It's gonna be a tough few days. We don't have much cricket, but we'll be back soon with the India West Indies and the Ashes coming up as well. So hope to see you
Yeah,
soon. Thank you so much, Don. And yes, subscribe to Down the Track for more interesting episodes. And yeah, have a good night, and I'll see you soon.
peace.